everybody, and welcome to the third episode of GMS Podcast Remastered.
Brought to you by Pioneer Productions.
You're here with your hosts, Cole Kennedy
and Henry Curran.
Alright, everybody, it's time for our first subject of the day, Going East, with Shiley Kennedy and Olivia Freed. Hey, guys.
Hi. What's up?
Okay, so what are you guys doing in East right now?
We are mainly doing the Ambassadors Project.
So what is the Ambassadors Project exactly?
The Ambassadors Project is a project where we take pictures of not just the class, but other classes like the choir room and the middle school. And we upload them to Satori so that way other people can see what East is doing.
So what is Satori?
Satori is something that you upload things to it and stuff.
So how does it work?
Well, you know how you can share it to other people and people can see what you're doing in that one class.
So it's basically like a little blog.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you planning on doing next?
Mainly, we don't really know actually. We're just gonna do what takes us there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said that mainly on that one project. How many different projects are you doing exactly?
We are doing the Ambassadors Project, and we've been working on video. And on video, we were editing the FinchBot project.
Okay.
That took a while,
Yeah.
longer than we expected.
What happened?
Well,
Premiere Pro wasn't working because it said the license was expired, so we had to wait a really long time.
Well, I hear that that Premiere Pro works on Adobe, so maybe your Adobe license expired, correct?
Yeah.
Well, what's your favorite thing about East?
Mainly just helping the community.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. We'll be sure to ask you guys about anything else if we have any other questions.
All right.
All right, it's time for our next subject, 6th grade scientist. All right. So, what are we learning in science?
At the beginning of your 6th grade year, you start off learning about experimental design and procedure, along with the metric system and how to take basic scientific measurements, which include measuring distances, length, and volume, and mass using a balance scale. Then, after you do the basically the introduction to scientific method and how to be in science class, you move on to energy and conservation, and you do a really cool project called what?
I remember us doing the Living Wise project.
The Living Wise project, right, where you go home and you get to install a bunch of...
Because I remember there being a light bulb, night light, the sink thing, the shower.
Yeah.
So you get to go home and...
Thermometer.
So you get to go home and install a bunch of stuff and help your parents save money and energy and water.
And it was an optional install on like the thing that went on the air vent because some people can't put it on there.
That's right. It's part of it's optional.
Yeah.
Then so we do that right before Christmas. And then after Christmas, we get into life science or biology and your foundations.
Which is what we're working on right now.
Which is what you're working on right now. So that's...
And then I heard that the next chapter was going to be about cells.
Right. The next chapter is about cells. And so right now we're on classification and how we classify organisms. And then the next chapter is about cells, where you learn about all the structures and organization of animal cells and plant cells. And you even get to look at your cells under a microscope after you learn how to properly use the microscope. After we do cells, we go usually into ACT, Aspire Test Prep. It may be a little later this year, so if we have time, we'll go into energy instead, because we didn't get to cover that before December this year.
So what about I heard about dissecting.
Yeah, so that's a part of life science. So if we have time, you do get to dissect some things. Those are kind of surprises, so I don't want to give those away. But it'll depend on how well you guys learn how to use the dissecting instruments, whether or not you get to dissect big things or smaller things.
So that does actually sound kind of fun.
Yes, Cole, I'm sorry your class didn't get to.
Yeah.
The first year I was here.
But on to our next question. Why did you decide to become a science teacher? Exactly.
I went to OSU for 2 years, and I almost got into vet school twice, but I didn't. So I got out of vet school and I graduated college with a bachelor's in science, and decided that my calling was to be a teacher. So I took a couple of tests. I became an alternatively certified teacher in Oklahoma for 5 years, where I taught grades 7th through 12th. And then 3 years ago, I made the switch over here to Arkansas, and I've exclusively taught 6th grade, which I very much love teaching. I really like the 6th grade class. When they come in from the intermediate, I just like teaching them at that age. So that's why I became a teacher.
Alright, that actually sounds pretty good. Well, thank you, Mrs. Johnson. We'll be sure to, you're sure to be hearing back from us pretty soon.
All right, thanks, Cole.
Bye.
Well, that's it for today.
Be sure to listen to the next episode of
GMS Podcast Remastered.